For the past month, I've had like this super hyper fixation on Jonestown. Now, when people hear Jonestown, most folks already think they know the story. A crazy cult, a madman preacher, a bunch of brainwashed people that just decided to die one day. And that version of the story is easy. It lets people feel distant from it. Make people feel like, oh, I'm smarter than that. But that version is wrong. Because what happened with Jim Jones and the People's Temple didn't start with madness. It started with hope. And hope is way more dangerous. What's up, parties? It's the dopest soul you'll ever meet. And welcome to High History, a series where we talk about real people getting real high back in the day. So today we're going to be talking about Jim Jones and the 900 people that I say he murdered, but others say it was a suicide. That's debatable. So, I guess I'm going to let you make the decision. But I'm not about to go too much into it now. So just go ahead and spark up your reefers. Because this story is definitely going to be a wild one. Roll the clip.
I'm the type of nigga that gets sassy on the bitch. VVS, clarity, stone, Prezi on the bitch. And I'm feeling like the hand of God. Bless me in this bitch. Put respect up on my name, ho. I'm heavy in this bitch. I just want 7 Grammys.
This is the story of Jim Jones, the People Temple, and how did more than 900 people die in 1978. This isn't about mocking the victims or turning tragedy into shock value. It's more about understanding how power works, how manipulation looks when it's dressed up, and most importantly, why did this story hit black communities so hard? Because if you don't understand how this happened, you'll always think it could never happen again. Now let's get into the story. Jim Jones was born in 1931 in Indiana. Poor upbringing, lonely childhood, but from early on, he was obsessed with influence. And not just religion, but just like power itself, like anybody power. He studied preachers, he studied politicians, he even studied dictators like Hitler. And instead of just picking one lane, he blended all of them together. When Jim Jones first appeared publicly, he didn't look dangerous. He looked progressive. And this was in the 1950s and 60s, when America was still like deeply in segregation. Churches were segregated, neighborhoods were segregated, opportunity was segregated. And here come this white pastor openly integrating his church, preaching racial equality, feeding the poor, helping the addicts, housing seniors, and offering real resources to people that society will usually ignore. Black people. And that mattered, especially to black communities that were tired of empty promises. Jim Jones won't just preaching on Sunday. He was helping people eat on Monday. He helped people pay rent. He helped single mothers. And when the government fails you long enough, whoever steps in next looks like the savior. That's why the People's Temple became majority black. About 70 to 75% of the members were African American. Many of them was women. Not because they were foolish, but because they were looking for dignity, safety, and community in a country that kept denying them all three. But even in the early days when Jim Jones was doing all the good, there was still some imbalance in there. Because the congregation was mostly black, but most of the leaders were white. Jim Jones preached equality, but he never gave up control. He spoke about socialism, but power stayed centered in him. And whenever somebody said they're building equality while holding all of the authority to themselves, that's your first sign to run. Now, at first, the changes were subtle, like church services being longer, but then he started getting a little tense. Loyalty became more important than belief. Public confessions were encouraged. People were pressured to admit sins, doubts, even private thoughts in front of everybody. I'd be damned. Like, I would just put you know how you do in church when you put your little one finger up and you just walk out? That's what I would have did. I'm out of that. It's like shame became a tool. So then control just became normal. Then Jim Jones introduced his miracles. He claimed he could heal cancer, blindness, paralysis, mesothelioma, internal disease. During services, he'll call people up that were supposedly sick. He'd pray over them, shout a little bit, sweat, grab them up and hem them up dramatically. Then he'll reach into their mouth or their clothing and pull out a bloody tissue. And then he'll hold it up and be like, "This is the cancer. This is the cancer. I took the cancer out. Do you see it? The cancer that was in here, I got it. It's in my hand." And then the crowd would just go crazy. They'll explode. They'll start crying and screaming. People really believed they was witnessing divine power. But what they didn't know, of course, it was fake. Former members later revealed that Jim Jones faked these healings using chicken liver. Yes, bitch, chicken liver. It was bloody and it was fleshy. I mean, it was realistic enough to pass in the moment. Sometimes he would hide it in his hand, or sometimes he would just like plan it ahead of time. Then, in the middle of all the emotional chaos, he'll just pull it out and sell it as cancer. It worked. And for real, I think once somebody shows you that they can bend reality, that's when your logic stopped working. So that's why that mattered. Because think about it. Somebody did the cancer. I pulled the cancer out, dude. Like, if you believe that you've seen a man pull cancer out of a human body, then believing that the CIA is after them don't sound too crazy no more. Believing that the government wants you dead doesn't sound like you're too paranoid. And believing death itself can be righteous, it don't sound impossible. And from there, Jones tightened the grip. People who questioned him were now labeled as enemies. Families were encouraged to turn on each other. He told them to discipline the kids publicly, and not sleeping just became normal. Jimmy told them that the FBI was watching, that the CIA was plotting on them, and the only place that was safe is the People's Temple. Jones decided that America itself was the problem, so he moved the People's Temple to Guyana, which I thought was in Africa because that sounds like something in Africa, but it's actually in South America. And he was selling it as like this socialist utopia, a place with no racism, no capitalism, no oppression, and he called it Jonestown. But Jonestown was not no damn paradise. It was isolation. People worked long days in brutal heat with little food. Armed guards would control the compound, passports were taken, and money was gone. So leaving became nearly impossible. And then on top of that, little Jimmy would blast his voice on the loudspeakers they had day in and day out, rambling, preaching, spiraling, and by this time, he was heavily addicted to drugs. High history. So his paranoia was through the roof, and people wanted to leave. That part often gets erased. But yeah, a lot of people wanted to leave. Leaving meant abandoning family. And on top of that, you will also be labeled as a traitor. So people stayed. Jones began holding rehearsals for the mass death, and he called it White Nights. He'd tell everybody that the government was coming, that this was the end, and that they needed to be ready to die together. But each rehearsal made the idea of dying together feel more normal. Then in November of 1978, the outside world finally reached Jonestown. U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan traveled to Guyana after months of reports from worried family members, defectors, and journalists who were saying there was something deeply wrong. People were disappearing, letters were being censored, survivors were claiming abuse, imprisonment, and rehearsals for mass death. Well, I don't see what the problem is. That's what happened. At first, Jones put on a show. When the congressman arrived at Jonestown, he was greeted with smiles, music, and speeches about love and equality. Members were encouraged to perform and sing, and just to say, like, everything is fine. You better say everything is fine. And for a moment, it almost worked. On camera, Jonestown looked peaceful, productive, organized, but it was done in the dark. Always comes to the light. That night during a gathering, someone quietly slipped Congressman Ryan a handwritten note. It said, "Please help us get out of Jonestown." Then another note, and then another one. People passed them secretly, but they were shaking in the boots, hoping nobody noticed. And some were just too scared to write anything at all. Ryan realized the truth right then and there. People weren't free at all. They were trapped. The next day, Ryan announced that anybody who wanted to leave Jonestown could leave with him. Big Ryan. A small group stepped forward. But even that took courage because Jim Jones was watching. And everybody know what usually happen when you do some shit like that. You probably get shot. And as Ryan and the defectors prepared to leave, the tension just snapped. Jones just went from 0 to 100. He called the defectors traitors, enemies, tools of the government. And as the group made their way down to the airstrip, Jones made one final decision. He sent armed guards after him. Like, how fucked up is that? Just let him leave. Just let him leave. At the airstrip, as the plane was preparing for takeoff, a truck pulls up. Gunmen jumped out, and without any warning, they opened fire. Congressman Leo Ryan was shot and killed. Journalists were shot and killed. And others were left wounded, bleeding out on the runway. And one of the survivors said it was like an execution. They seen the gunmen go over the top of the bodies and do a double take to make sure they were dead. That's crazy. And back in Jonestown, Jim Jones knew it was over. He gathered the community and he told them exactly what he'd been preparing them for years. That the government was coming. That there would be no mercy. That their children was going to be tortured. And that escape was going to be impossible. So this is the final stand. He called it revolutionary suicide. He said death was resistance. But what followed was not a free decision. It was controlled and it was forced. Children were killed first. So cyanide was mixed into Kool-Aid or Flavor Aid. That's debatable too, but Flavor Aid and Kool-Aid, same thing. And it was given to babies with syringes. Parents were forced to watch their children die before they were asked to drink it themselves. Some parents begged, screamed, some refused. Witnesses later reported that they seen people being held down, and others were threatened at gunpoint. And armed guards surrounded the pavilion to prevent escape. This was not everybody like choosing death together. Some people tried to run, some people hid, and some resisted. But like after years of isolation, manipulation, and on top of that, they was just exhausted, resistance was like damn near impossible for them. So by the end of the night, more than 900 people were dead. 900 people. That's a lot of people. Like if you really think about it, like think of like I can't even imagine how much 900 people. Is that enough people to fit on a football field? Because I'm trying to imagine. I'm trying to imagine in my head 900 people. We can talk about that later. Let's get back to the story. So most of them were black. Many of them were women, and more than 300 were children. And get this, Jim Jones didn't drink the poison. He died from a gunshot wound to the head. And whether it was self-inflicted or not is debatable, because the way the bullet went, it doesn't look like he shot himself. The man who demanded absolute loyalty couldn't even die the way he made the other people die. And that's the story of Jonestown. Cults don't begin with violence. They begin with hope. They don't be pulling people in with fear. They pull you in with love and community and promises of safety. And they don't just isolate you all at once. They do it slowly. Jonestown is not a story about crazy people. It's a story about manipulation and how hope can really be weaponized. And now that we're at the end, we can do my segment that I'm going to call Dope Soul Thoughts. So I don't just ramble all through my video and stuff like that. We're going to save my thoughts for the end. So I got my handy dandy iPad, okay? So let's get to my thoughts. So when he started the People's Temple and everything like that, everything really started off cool. I don't understand. I'm still really trying to figure out what the fuck really happened. Okay, because you want equality and you want everybody to live happy and social. I understand that all the old people coming together. I get that. Where did it go wrong? Where did it go wrong? What happened in your head to make it? What drugs were you taking? What? I still want to figure that out. I need to know what drugs that he was taking, because the way you just do the complete flip like that, or was you always evil? And did you always have a plan? I don't know. That's my first thought. Next thought. it was so much in this story. Like if I would have unpacked everything, like I didn't feel like talking that long, y'all. So I didn't feel like doing that. But he had a wife. Okay, his wife was named like Marcelina or Marceline or some shit like that. How did like where was you at? Like, okay, like you was okay with this shit? And even if you wasn't okay with this shit, like you was okay enough with this shit for all this to happen? Like, I heard that they used to get like into arguments and stuff like that, about religion and stuff. Like at first he was a God-fearing man and stuff like that, which is why she married him in the first place. Why she was attracted to him, because he was a God-fearing man. Then when they got married, I don't believe in your God and everything like that. Then he became a pastor of a church, and then he stopped preaching about God. It's where the fuck did it go wrong? Where was the wife? And then like, why you didn't divorce? Like, I don't care about the time frame. I don't care why you didn't divorce, or why you didn't report him to the police. Like, if you didn't agree, it's real rocky about her. Some people say she won't with it, and then other people say she was with it. It's real rocky about Marceline. We don't know about Marceline. We don't know about Marceline. Bitch, the chicken livers. Y'all think we was not gonna come over here and say something about the damn chicken livers? He used to put chicken livers in people's stuff, in people's pocket, drop chicken livers in people's mouths and stuff like that. He used to have nurses and stuff that's in the crowd and plant it and be all with it and just drop it in drop the chicken liver in people's mouth and shit like that. Then people coughing up the chicken liver because, bitch, what the fuck did you just put in my mouth? Then I got the cancer. That's fucking, you going to hell. Like, you going to hell. Who would do some shit like that? And then, like, I be trying to feel sympathetic, because I'm never victim blaming or no shit like that. Like, we're not doing that. I really be trying to feel sympathetic for, like, the people that be going through this type of stuff, but this was like a chicken liver. You ain't go to the doctor after he did this stuff and was like, hey, this pastor just pulled a cancer tube out my stomach. I ain't feel nothing. It just, I don't know, like, and the doctor, like, chicken livers, okay? Chicken livers. So I was in here editing my video, and I forgot to tell y'all that I did listen to the tapes, the death tapes. I do not recommend, okay? I did. It was late at night, y'all, so I did fall asleep listening to the tapes. I'm not saying they soothing and no shit like that, because now it's fucking with me. So it will fuck with you. It's fucking with my head. He was talking about some crazy ass shit. He was saying some crazy ass shit like, without me, there's no life and stuff like that. And then it's like the people in the background like, yeah, whoa, yeah, and shit like that. He was like, people, we have to give ourselves and we have to give the kids first. And it's this lady. I think her name was Christine or some shit like that. And she was talking. She was trying to let everybody, like, she was trying to, I'm not ready to die. She was like, as long as it's still life, it's still hope. Like, she was speaking that shit, and people was getting mad at her. Like, the other sisters, the other brothers, they was getting mad at her. They was like, hey, if it wasn't for Jim Jones, we won't be here. What do you mean? And then she was like, I believe that everybody should have their own individuality and stuff like that. And then the man came and he was like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, individuality. If it wasn't for Jim Jones, it wouldn't be for us. I'm like, what the hell? Like, they dead serious right now. Like, what the fuck? My mind was blown. And then you can hear the girl. Oh, my fucking God. Lord have mercy. Then you can hear the babies in the background. Like, he lining the kids up. You can hear the people, fuck. Excuse me, I'm so rambly. You can hear him giving the people directions and shit like that, like line the babies up, and then the babies crying and shit like that, like agonizing cries, like like the shit hurt, bitch. It's cyanide. That shit hurt. That's like one of the most painful ways to go. He's sitting there talking about something. It doesn't hurt. It's just a bitter taste. It's just a bitter taste. They're only crying because it's a bitter taste. They got motherfuckers, mothers in that bitch going off and shit like that. And then he was like, mothers, please. I'm like, bitch, no, you please. What the fuck is you talking about? It's just so crazy. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to it, y'all. It really fucked my head up. Don't listen to it. But yeah, I had to add that in here. I just had to add that in here. Okay, go ahead. The Congressman came. Okay, Congressman Leo Ryan. Congressman Leo Ryan. Okay. He came, he saw what he wanted to see. You had 900 odd people, okay, at your Jonestown camp. Okay, it's 900 and some people there. Out of the 900 people that you had there, maybe only 16, 17, I'm gonna round it up to 20 people might have said they wanted to leave. Everybody else, regardless if they lying or not, nigga, everybody else said they want to stay, they happy or whatever. The only thing that you might get is some bad press or somebody talking about you. They can't come shut you down. You have 800 more people right there that said that they love you, sir. What the fuck is you doing? Why didn't you just let those people leave? Let the people say what they want to say about you or whatever, but you still had Jonestown. Why would you end your whole shit like that? Is it really that bad if somebody say something like wrong about you? Or like, I'm not even wrong. Everything was right, bitch. But if somebody say something bad about you, are you really that pressed? Why not just let the people leave? If you would have let those people leave, you probably would have had Jonestown right now to this day. Like, if you would have just let them people leave and just passed it down to your next generation and stuff like that, why would you go kill them? And why would you make these people like, what's up? What's wrong? Why would you do that? That was not a very leader decision. That was not no leader shit. You should just let those people leave. Mind your business. Okay, they want to leave. Let them leave. I don't get that. I don't get his. I don't get the. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get where he coming from. Okay, I don't get it. Okay, because he had a church. He had a booming church at that. Like, his church was booming, a nice big congregation, okay? You had money. Oh, bitch. And on top of that, you had money. When he died, he had $7 million in the bank. Where'd that come from? Jonestown didn't have no money. They couldn't eat. They struggling. Where's the money? Where is the money? How you got $7 million? That's why I don't think he killed himself. I don't think he killed himself. I think the punk bitch didn't kill himself. I think one of his followers or some shit killed him or something like that. He might have said some shit. They might have been on the last whatever. It was sad. It was to be the mistress, because he was fucking and ducking everybody in there, and the wife was just okay with it. Girl, she was crazy too. I don't know what the hell's wrong with her. She just crazy. Him and the mistress was the last two people left. He had $7 million in the bank. You gonna kill yourself? You got $7 million? I don't think so. I don't think so, bucko. You said something to that mistress. She's like, oh, everybody's dead. Come on, let's get down. Let's hurry up and get out of here if anybody come. She probably looked at you like you're not the leader that you thought you was. She probably killed your ass. And then she probably had enough guts and balls to kill herself because she was following you. I cracked the case. There you go. There you go. I'm always going to do it. Kayla K cracked the case. I cracked it. He had $7 million in the bank. Why would you kill yourself? And then, like I said, it won't go into Jamestown. I mean, shit. It won't go into Jonestown. That's my theory. But yeah, that's the story of Jonestown. Told you it was gonna be a wild one. So make sure you smoke the gas. Oh, hold on. What's my gas at? You know I do this every time. Y'all give me a second. Hold on. Make sure you smoke the gas and make sure you pass it. Okay? Dope Soul out.